Hi, we're the Three Cube Bros.
And this is the second episode of Learning with Andrei. In our previous episode of Learning with Andrei, we were learning how to solve everything on the Megaminx except for the last layer. So, once you finish everything except for the last layer, which you can find how to do in this, you will come up with a case that looks like OLL and PLL on the 3x3 Rubik's Cube. So all of this is going to be just completely random. Now this is the hardest OLL, quote-unquote OLL case, although you do use a slightly different method for OLL and PLL than you do on the Rubik's Cube. So the method to doing the last layer on the Megaminx is you finish a star on the bottom, then you orient all of the edges of the completed star so they are all lined up like this is. So you'd have to put this here and in the right orientation. But after all of the stars is complete, you have to do that. And then you have to make sure that the edges, the corners are oriented in the right place. And after that, you just have to orient the corners and you solve the Megaminx. There are 4 possible cases that you can get for solving the cross, one of them being the solved position. And this would be the hardest one because it requires 3 repetitions of this algorithm. And the algorithm is F, and then you do the sexy move, which for those of you who don't know, is R, U, R prime, U prime, and then you reverse the starting move, which is just F prime. You can do this algorithm anywhere on that case if you wanted to, but then once you do that, you'll get this case where 3 of them are correct, and you usually just do that here, so that's F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And you get this arrow case. Now when you have the arrow case, you only do it one more time and the star will be solved. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And you'll have the completed star. Once you have the star, what you have to do is orient all of these edges so that they're in the correct position. These 2 are in the correct position, but these 3 are not. Alright, well actually, this is a very awesome coincidence, but this is what you need to have. This is very good, because after that, you just perform the algorithm here. Twice, maybe. And you've oriented all of them. But, just in case you don't get extremely lucky like me, just in case you don't get extremely lucky, like I just did there, you're going to have to do that algorithm several times. Now, what you're eventually trying to get is having it in 2 places, like that, 2 adjacent edges. I do not have any 2 adjacent edges. Alright, the algorithm you need to use to correct this is a really common algorithm that you use on the 3x3. That would be R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U2, R. And that's just the algorithm that you get for this, which is a very, very common algorithm. So, it is R, U, R prime, U prime, R. Now with the Megaminx, with its 5 sides, if you do U2, then it won't do anything. It'll mess it up, see? That's because it's 5 sides. And if you did it one more time, then it would do it. But usually what you would do with the Megaminx is R, U, R prime, U prime, R, and then you would usually just do that with the thumb twice and then bring it back. Just because that's one fewer move than bringing it all the way around. Now remember, what you're trying to look for is 2 adjacent edges. If you do not have this case, then just keep trying it in different positions until you do. That's honestly the best advice I can give you, because that's how I actually solve it. Once you do have this case, what you do is you do this algorithm on this side of it. So you have the 2 adjacent ones, and you do it on this side. So R, U, R prime, U prime, R. Well, I guess that would be U prime 2 and R. And then you either do it once or twice. If it doesn't work the first time, just do it a second time in the exact same position, and you'll get all of these edges oriented. The next step is to orient all of the corners in the right place. Now, as you can see, this corner is already in the right place. It just needs to be twisted, but none of the other corners are like that. So So what you're trying to do is get all of the corners, like this corner. They don't even necessarily have to be facing up for now. In this case, R will not be this side, but this side, and L will still be this side. And the algorithm is R.
No.
The algorithm is L prime, U, R, U prime, L prime, U prime, R prime, U prime. Alright. And you just keep doing that algorithm until you find two, again, you need two adjacent ones that are in the correct place. As you can see, I have two here, but that isn't good because I need two adjacent ones. This algorithm is a corner rotation algorithm. These two corners are in place, so that means that these three corners are not. And for this algorithm to work, they need to be adjacent, which they are not, but with one setup move, they are adjacent. So now you can do the algorithm, and it'll work fine. Now you're rotating them. You have to make note of where you're rotating them. You're rotating them clockwise to do the regular algorithms that I showed you earlier. If you're rotating them counterclockwise, then you just do this algorithm in reverse. Or you can do it twice, but I would recommend it in reverse because that's faster. So remember, do the setup move, and then you do the algorithm normally. And then you reverse the setup move, and all of your corners will be oriented properly. Now what you do is just a whole bunch of sexy moves to orient these corners. What you have to do is do the sexy move like this, so it's kind of like an upside down sexy move. You do it twice, and remember to move it back after you've done that, and then you turn it to the next one. Do sexy move again. Remember to do it twice. Do it again. And this time the blue's facing me. So you're gonna have to do the reverse sexy move. It's this. Turn it again. Again, it's a reverse sexy move. And then you'll be finished the cube. You just finish off the top layer. Thank you for watching my Megaminx tutorial. I'm Andrei from the 3Cubebros.